That should probably do it.
Please decelerate.
Welcome to the KS16X review. Let's get it unboxed. We got a charger, 1.5 amps. Little manual, KS16X user manual. Okay, charger, 84 volt, top speed. When you've gone over 200 kilometers, you can decode it to 50 kilometers an hour. Up until 0 to 200 kilometers is 40 kilometers an hour maximum. There it is. Might take this off. Okay, dokey. Look at that. What an absolute beast of a machine. Huge tyre on it. Magnificent. You got USB ports here. Yep. And on the back, got power ports here. Speaker at the back there, little Kingsong logo. No reflective strip. A rubber mudguard. Sort of vaguely soft. These are soft here. These are a bit, well, I say a bit harder. They're much harder, these. This actually is very soft. Handle. Push it in all the way in the center of the button. There it is. Foot plates. Rubber bit there, sticking out. Try and protect it from the side as it goes up. Yeah. Grip pad. Got a little bit of movement in the front of that. There, I don't know if you can see that, but a little bit of movement in there. Front and back. Sure what that's all about. But looking good. Nice grippy big foot plates anyway. That's one thing about it. Now one thing to note, no more ripping your fingers apart as you try and open them. Incredibly easy to open. Can't work if that's magnet or not. I think it is. It's hard to tell. Not sure. But anyway, they fold up like that and they don't fall out. So that's good. Much better design. Front headlight unit on there. No headlight at the back. Unlike the KS18XL, which has a light front and back. So yeah, that's one thing to note. What you have got is lights here, there and there. Where is it? There and there. So there you go. Right. Suppose I should take this out and actually try it and see what it's like. It's the end of the day at the moment here, so we're gonna have to take it out and quick play about, and then the following day I will do a ride through the forest, proper test on it, and then do a range test. Let's head outside now and give it a go. A quick play about with it. So here's the first initial impressions. Haven't been on it yet, and I haven't got all my kit with me, so we're just going to give it a go quickly, and then a bit later on I'm going to kit up because we're at the end of the day. So I want to have a go. I don't want to go home. I actually want to try it first, and then we'll do the full-on rundown. I just want to have a quick go. Oh, grippy foot plates like that. It says Kingsong on them. Let's give it a go. Straight out of the box. Tyre feels nice and agile, that's for sure. Got a lot of torque.
Please decelerate.
And there, the traditional Kingsong brown pants moment, when it just suddenly flows you backwards because you've put too much power in. It's not gentle, it really does scare you even after all these years of riding. If you get to its peak, it just throws the foot plates back. rather than sort of beeping first, maybe to let you know you're near that. It's always, oh, that's my criticism. I don't know what PSI is in this because I haven't pumped it up yet. Feels quite spongy. Can you jump it? No, you can't. Not very easily. Not damaging it. I don't want to do that just yet. Right, so it's going to speed's going to be set pretty low, I think. Yeah.
Please decelerate.
So I'll quickly log in and see what speed I can actually do.
Please decelerate.
Not what speed I can do. I'll log in and see what the speed's set at as standard. It's not very fast, I know that much.
Please decelerate. Please decelerate.
So it's tilting back about 20 kilometers. 20 kilometers an hour is tilting back as standard. Obviously you can change that. Let's check out the annoying mode where you connect Bluetooth speakers to it.
Big Shaq, the one and only. Man's not hot.
Better pause that now because we get copyright infringement. It's the future, this is a warfare. Well, one thing we learned so far is that the bass is struggling. The bass is struggling. But playing music through them is annoying anyway. It annoys everybody because no one else likes your music. That's what I've learned. Probably going to put this away now. Okay, so the sensible things to do, I think, really, because we've never actually tested this before, is to try and push a 30-year-old car. It's a good first test, isn't it? Right, let's get it going. We seem to be rolling, which is good. You all right in there, mate? Yeah. Good man. Gone really far? How far is it to your house? Whoa. Using no fuel at all. How good's that? No fuel. No fuel, mate. Not using any fuel. Where do you want to go? Straight on down that way? Or this way? Going around to the right, are you? Well, I thought, you know, to make it more efficient, you cut through the middle. It's what? It's really hurting my arms, this. Yeah, but... Oh yeah, so tiring. Doing all this is tiring me out. Ah, go down the hill there, I reckon. Go back round again. Turn right. That's it. Then I'll meet it down that way if you just let it roll. Alright, here we go. In we go. Oh, he's got the brakes on. Ah, come back. Yeah, that's it. Just gonna park it there. Good, so we've proven pretty much that if you need to push a 30-year-old car, thumbs up. Cool. Carry on the testing. See you later, mate. That is the range test done and dusted. So we've done the unboxing and the range test. And actually, it's performed really, really well. So on the initial release of these, there was a firmware that had a bug. And then we got the updated version, which we got by USB. So we had to download the files direct from Kingsong. They sent us the file, we downloaded it to USB, plug it in, and we updated the firmware that way because it wasn't available over the air. And so I've been riding on that firmware. And since then, there's been another update. But I'm riding on the firmware they gave me originally, and the update was yesterday. So yet to do that one. But anyway, I'm riding on that, and it has worked really, really well. So the tyre is a bit similar. It's very close to coming along the same behavioural line as the Z10. If you've ever ridden that, or if you haven't, you can watch my review on it. Be linked probably in the card displayed up on top of the screen now. That tends to follow what we call tram lines, so repairs in the road where there's a different type of surface level, tends to go along those. This almost does that, but not quite. It's on the verge of it. So it's not quite as free moving as some of the wheels on the market, but it is a nice big tyre, so I haven't had any loss of traction or anything riding on road or off road. And off road's been fairly damp of late, even though it's summer. It's tail end of summer. Mudguard has held up absolutely fine on that note to do with mud. There's been no issues there. Hasn't sprayed up anywhere all over my back or anything like that. They have taken, as far as I can see, and some design cues from the Z10 when we're on the subject of the Z10. So the bigger tyre for one, the carbon fibre type look. It's not actual carbon fibre, otherwise this would be very expensive. And the rear mudguard. It looks a bit similar to the Ninebot Z10, except from it's got a red stripe instead of a white one. Reflective stripe, I must add. So if you have no battery power, you'll still be seen by cars approaching. So that's quite a nice little touch. The other thing is about this is some more thought's gone into it. It's a rubber mudguard, so it's actually squidgy, which helps. So if you stack it up in the back of the car and then it rolls over, it just takes the impact. Now I'm trying to work out whether there's an advantage or disadvantage from that comparison to the Z10, which is quite a solid mudguard. I can't really think of one, except from the fact it doesn't scratch up so easily. So the Z10 we're testing at the moment, that's got scratches and grooves and cut into it all over because it's solid plastic. Whereas this one has no marks on it yet. I don't think it will, because it's rubber. The other thing it's rubber, which is interesting to note, is this front part here. Whereas normally manufacturers will just run plastic down to this part, but this is actually rubber. It's nice and soft. So that's interesting. So if it falls forward as well, it's going to protect its face. It won't smash its own face in if it rolls forward. So that's neat. And you can see here, there's not much leeway for the tyre. Now what I've had a couple of times, it's a little bit scary, and it tends to be with new tyres. I've had this before, and I was trying to think of the model, and I remembered it last night. It was the 18L when I first took that out. And what it used to do was pick stones up, take them up through the inside of the body, and then it would crunch its way around until it came out the other side. So you're trundling along, and suddenly the thing jolts, and it makes you jump. You're like, what was that? And what it is stones going up. And because it's so tight to the shell, if you get one on the outer side, it actually carries up in, jolts, and then forces its way out again. So it cleans itself out. Can be a little bit scary. It kind of feels like a firmware issue. It's like, whoa, and jolts. But it's just stones. And as I say, I've had no issues. I can 100% tell you it is stones. Because it's happened a couple of times. And I've actually seen one pop out this side. I was like, oh yes, there it is. So that's worth noting for one. I've had that before. Foot plates, very, very comfortable. So I can't fold them down now because of the stand. I don't think, no, can't quite get away with it. But probably some footage over the top of this. They have been incredibly grippy. Not seen, obviously, the wear. We'll see that at the end of 1,000 kilometers. But no slippage there. I've had wet shoes, no issues whatsoever with those. And the size of them is spot on. And the fact that they now open and close so much easier is a massive, massive plus from Kingsong. So for the use of this wheel, having to just knock it with your foot and open it, spot on. Put your foot underneath it, close it back up again. Whereas before, in other models, you put your hand in here, force the thing down, and over time it gets tighter and tighter. You have to mess about with the thing or re-oil it or whatever. These, straight out of the box, spot on. And I haven't found them too loose that they keep coming open. That's been fine. No issues there whatsoever. light, really nice and bright. So that illuminated last night I was out on this, and that illuminates the path in front of you really, really well. The only thing I would say, unless you've got a massive belly, you're going to be able to see that light, basically. When you're stood on it, going dead straight, on flat, you can just see it in your peripheral vision. So it's sort of here, and even if you're looking straight ahead, it kind of glares at you a little bit, which is a little bit annoying. You almost want a shroud over the top part. That kind of wood, it's like a little hood. And that might solve that. If you've got a thick coat on, so winter, you probably wouldn't even notice it. It is literally, if you're wearing something like wearing the armour, which is like a t-shirt. So when I was wearing the armour last night, it's here, and I can see basically just a little bit of the light shining up, especially if it's night time and the light's really bright. So the light's bright, but of course that brings on that slight issue. And that varies depending on the train you're on, of course. So if you're going uphill, the light's actually pointing down more into the hill. So it just varies, but on flat, you can kind of see it, which is a little bit annoying in some respects. So I shall move on to now the lights overall that go round. I turn them off. That's the brilliant thing about having an app, of which it's not a great app, but at least you can turn those lights off. So I didn't want those twin lights spinning around. So I turn them off. You can have them on if you want. You can mess around with the colors. You can change the way they display. So they can be fixed. They can breathe in and out. They can spin around with the wheel. They can be multiple colors, everything. Now, when you turn those off, you actually retain the brake lights here, which is pretty neat. So as you put the brakes on, bright red. And so that seems to work well. What I did notice, I'm not sure if there's a change, is turning off those lights and turning off the front light, so stopping it auto come on, because I was finding it was getting dusky, but I was out in the middle of the trails, and when you go into tree cover, it was coming on and then switching on and off. So I thought, oh, I'll mess about that and turn that off, stop it doing that. It seemed to turn off the flashing, pulsing red lights, which are on as standard when you're going along. When you brake, they go red solid. It seemed to turn those off as well. It would be nice to always have those available, but not have to have the front. Again, that's firmware. It's not a hardware issue, so they could do that with that. But some more customizable functions, I suppose. It's pretty good as it is, to be fair, but it'd be nice to have that little feature where you could specifically choose lights and brake lights. I may have missed it. That's possible. If I have, comment below. I'm sure you will pretty rapidly. It could just be me. I had a quick look whilst I was riding along, so I didn't spend much time on it, but it seemed as though I turned that off and then these went off apart from the brakes. The brakes work, which is good. But if it's a bit dusky, but you don't quite want the front light on, then having just the red flashing would be a nice touch. Tell me if you can, and I'm sure later on they'll make it available anyway. Double charge ports, definitely worth mentioning. So if you wanted to buy an extra charger, which you can get from speedyfeet.co.uk, you can then plug it in and have twice the speed of charging. So that goes without saying, what a brilliant feature. You kind of want 3 now, don't you? 3 chargers, 3 times as fast. But anyway, that is a great little feature. You just plug 2 chargers into it, especially if you've got older models. So this is the same as the KS18 as well. So that'll plug in 18L and XL. And it's the same. What else is it the same as? Don't know. I'll leave that one there. You can tell me in the comments below as well what charge is the same as this, because I can't think of it at the moment. Trolley handle, press the button dead center. Remember that, don't press on the side because you start to wear it out. When you press that, it's releasing both these sides. If you press it one-sided, you're going to start wearing the handle out. So that has been very responsive. I hardly ever use trolley handles. I do use the handle because we carry up 2 flights of stairs every day, depending on what the machine is. But so it goes up 2 flights of stairs. We've had no issues whatsoever. The pickup on this now, you pick it up every time it's worked. If you've watched the KS18L video, you will see that I was really struggling with that, and they added a calibration function to it to help you calibrate it, but they've changed the design on this one. Massively better. Pick it up, it just works. No issues whatsoever. Comfortable because of the side rubber padding, and it's actually pretty flipping durable. Slammed the brakes on earlier today with this in the car. It's on the back seat, slid off the back seat, slammed under the footwell. Not a mark on it. So that's stood up, as well as this carbon fibre-y look on here, which the MSX has got that as well. The MSX from Gotway has got this type of finish, and it's such a hard wearing finish. Really, really nice. So that's been good. So closest rivals to this wheel, if you are not specifically interested in the KS16X but are looking at all these sorts of wheels this size, you've got the Tesla from Gotway and you've got the Nikola from Gotway. Now I think in terms of battery size, of course, this is basically the same as the Gotway Nikola. In a smaller form factor, only just though, only just. Tyre, incredibly similar. So that, from that point of view, they are the closest match. So go and watch the Nikola review we've done. We've probably done several of them by the time you watch this video. But go and have a look at that, the unbox and the range test on that. That is where you want to be. Those three wheels really, and the Tesla, thinner wheel for sure. So if you don't want that tram lining going on, then you could look at the Gotway Tesla. That's Tesla 2 actually. That's got basically a 2000 watt motor. That is the closest you can get to those. But of course the range on these is more because they're close to 1600 watt hours each, which is an incredible amount of battery power. And they've really stacked these up as much as they can, using up all the available space they can. When you're charging, you can see a little red light on the inside, just worth noting. So this is actually, although it may look it, is not a solid black. It's actually a smoke casing. So if you wanted to aftermarket mod it, you could get lights to shine through if you really, really wanted to. I know some of you guys are really into that. Someone will make the whole side glow, I suspect, but it's smoke. It's worth noting. We tested the speaker, and it isn't that great, if I'm honest. It loses it where the bass is, and I'm not comparing that with like a Bose sound system, surround sound system in your house. I'm comparing against other wheels. It's nothing to write home about. It's okay. It does what it's supposed to do. It amplifies sound. And so the alerts, if you put, so you've got two functionalities. You've got the Bluetooth connection to the board, and you've got the Bluetooth system for the speakers, two separate connections. And if you're running Map My Ride or another app, and you're checking your distance like I do, then it shouts out plenty loud enough. In fact, a little bit embarrassing, because if you have it full volume like I did last night, it's fine when you're out in the middle of the forest. As soon as you go into the centre of town, everyone's looking at what you're doing, because it's shouting out how many miles you're going, what your split time is, and your average speed and everything. And she goes on and on talking. So from that point of view, it is very loud, but in terms of music, it isn't that great in terms of quality. So I'm not sure if they'll change that in the future, but it's not something I promote anyway, these speakers for playing sound, because as I've said before, I keep saying, most people don't like your own music. You might love it, but they don't. And we don't really want to be annoying people with these wheels. So I try and not ever do that if I can help it. If you're wondering who this wheel's for, it's actually suited for off-road and strictly road. So if you're a city commuter, then it's going to suit you down to the ground. And if you love doing trails, then you'll be able to do trails on this, no problem. This extra padding around the side, if you drop it, helps protect it, really, with almost that need for a cover. And obviously if you end over end it, then you're going to damage all this section. But it works both on-road and off-road, and with that tyre, it just covers both really, really well. And the tyre, as you've seen, is very aggressive tread. And on the road, it holds its own because of its size. So from that point of view, if you're doing a mile commute in and out, then you're probably overkilling it with this, to be fair, because you've got 1600 watt hours more or less of battery power. So you might be overkilling it. So from that point of view, this is going to be pretty much suiting everybody. I mean, with its closest rival, the Gotway Nikola, this is more hardy. It hasn't got that piano plastic finish on the outside, which is going to get scratched up like a good one if you drop it. This is actually more of a robust finish. So the Nikola, that's brilliant for city riding. and it can off-road, but obviously you've always got that thought hanging over your head. If you drop this now, it's going to look terrible. Whereas you drop something like this, you're going to get away with it. You're going to hide some scratches, some sort of grooves cut out of it, because it's just black and a solid colour, and it's got some rubber side padding. So from that point of view, I think it tops it as being an all-rounder. You could go into the power delivery and speed. Obviously got weight, go on the top end speed. But in terms of just riding it like the average person, not doing massively extreme stuff, this will cope with both terrains. The Nicola will cope with both terrains, but you've got the possibility of making it look like a beaten up old piece of junk pretty quickly if you keep having offs. So I would recommend this pretty much for any rider that wants to do a mix of riding, or is absolutely stuck on doing off-road, or absolutely stuck on city. And the only thing I would say is, if you're wanting to go 1 mile to 5 miles to 20 miles maybe even, consider a cheaper option than this. Otherwise, if you want to get the maximum mileage out of it, then obviously this is going to be your boy. Yeah, that's probably about it. So please like and subscribe, and go and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Why not? Whilst you're there, and go to our Facebook page and go and give us a like, a thumbs up, and thumbs up this video. Go and like this video. Apparently it's really important that you like videos, so go and click like.